Hey guys, it's Talon. Today I'm going to be talking about team fighting in Wild Rift. I'm going to go over the different team fighting roles. I'm going to go over target priority. For example, things like targeting the enemy carry who is most fed versus when you want to target a frontline champion when you're often like an AD carry or something. Third, zoning, very important to position in a way so that people can't access where they want to access. Fourth, protecting your carry, understanding when to use your CC to protect your carry versus when to engage on the enemies. And fifth is positioning. Similar to zoning, positioning in a way where people can't go where they want to, but also positioning in a way where you can't get engaged on and can't die in fights. So that's just some key points. Now let's go into more specific examples of different situations so you can understand better what I'm talking about. Okay guys, so first I'm going to talk about an assassin's role in a team fight. Assassins often need to be very patient and just wait for the right moment to go in. You need to pay very close attention to the most important CC on the enemy team. In this specific team comp, Nami, Sion, and Yone are the most important members of the team that I have to pay attention to in terms of their CC being used. The Yone ultimate, the Sion first ability, and the Nami ult and bubble. So I'm waiting until I see at least a couple of those abilities used before I really decide to go in. Now I see Yone ults, so I decide to go in on him after to try to get his GA popped. Sion just uses his first ability. I know Nami is the only CC, and it's pretty hard to use. I see them grouping up. I decide to go in after a lot of patience there, waiting for my team to kind of get engaged on, to waste a lot of their abilities. And then once they're distracted and trying to kill my teammates, that's when I choose my moment to go in. So really on Assassins, the most important thing is looking at the enemy CC, and looking at the positioning of other enemy squishies and waiting until the squishies are out of position and their CC is gone. Okay guys, so unlike playing an assassin, when you're playing a champion that is much more squishy and much more focused on dealing DPS, you have to be a lot more reactive. So after this fight breaks out here, you're going to see that I'm just simply focusing on whoever goes in front of me and focusing on not dying to them. You need to simply keep track of who can kill you in fights and staying far enough away so that they cannot do that, while also getting as much damage off as possible by hitting whoever's in front of you when it's safe to do so. Here, I know it's not safe because Rengar is going in on my Varus and the Veigar is close by, so I would just die if I go to him. But now I'm far enough back that I know Rengar is getting baited into an engage here, so I'm going to start hitting him because nobody's nearby to be able to hit me. Next, I see that the Soraka is caught out there, so I decide to dash over the wall, flash and catch her, and then get an easy kill because she overextends. And then Set does a similar thing, overextending, so I just keep hitting whoever's in front of me. Rather than trying to focus on engaging on people specifically, I allow them to make the mistakes, and then I auto-attack whoever just comes close to me and punish them for their overextensions. I end up getting a triple kill. I react with the stasis to the Rengar ult, and then here, you know, I'll just bait him out. We'll ult him dead back, and my Rakan will try to go in. He'll end up dying. But I know Kha'Zix is coming, so again, I'm just trying to bait Rengar long enough for my Kha'Zix to get there, which I do end up doing successfully here with my little dash, baiting him in, and then my Kha'Zix ends up getting the kill. So really just important things to keep track of are, you're a lot more reactive as an ADC. You got to just hit who is in front of you. Make sure you don't position too far up so that you cannot get punished by their assassins, and that's most of the most important things, and then punishing overextensions from the enemy. Okay guys, so now I'm going to talk about the perspective of a tank engaged champion in the fight. So the main thing you want to do as a engaged champion is decide whether or not you want to engage on the enemy or you want to help protect your teammates. In this case, I think I probably want to go on the enemy backline because they have 280 carries. They have a Zeri and a Vayne. So my goal is to target their backline damage so that the backline damage gets separated from the rest of their team in the fight and then cannot provide the damage that they would otherwise be able to. So here I'm going to initially engage on the Xin Zhao, trying to go for the Dragonsteel. Not going to get it, but I see the Zeri caught out there and I can easily ult onto her, separate her from the Xin Zhao. They're all separated, so it's very easy to just target the Xin Zhao. We kill the Zeri, everyone just dies because we separate them from each other in the fight, and I know that I'm an engaged champion. There's multiple 80 carries. If I can kill the 80 carries, they'll have no damage, and then we can easily win the fight, which is exactly what we end up doing in that fight there. Okay guys, so this next fight is going to be more of a skirmish, not necessarily a full-blown team fight, but it's going to show the example that I need to show. And that is saving CC for the key enemy members. So oftentimes playing against a Katarina, you're going to notice this, where they're going to just 1v9 your team because nobody's going to save their CC for them. So I know in this fight that I'm not going to use all my abilities instantly. I'm actually waiting out for the cat to come in. I now see I target lock onto her, I wait for her to ult, and I instantly terrify her, getting her almost 1 HP, and all of her damage is gone because her ult is gone. That causes her to be able to die to my Pantheon. Meanwhile, I also end up getting an ult off onto Camille. But the really important thing to note there is make sure you identify the key members of the fight and save your CC for those key members when that is your role in the team fight. I know that I'm one of the members of my team that can easily CC Katarina and make her quite a useless champion if I do it properly. And so I do exactly that. I save my CC as soon as she ults. I instantly use my second ability on to terrify her, and then we get her super low and win the team fight because of that. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you what happens when you don't correctly identify your role in a team fight. Here in this team fight, you're going to see me try to play like in a backline damage dealing champion, which sometimes Vex is good at, but in this situation, again, it's the same game with the Katarina, where I know my only goal in this fight is whenever Kat decides to go in, that I decide to counter engage for her. So I need to be saving my fear already there, using my first ability on the wave. That's bad because now my fear goes on cooldown for another 10-20 seconds. Now you're going to see again, once this fight starts to break out, I should be simply waiting with my fear, waiting for Katarina to go in and not using it until she goes in, not doing any damage, because Kat's not doing any damage either. So even if I'm not doing anything, neither is she, and I know that the win condition of the fight is Katarina for them, and for us it's simply shutting down the Katarina. But here you're going to see I try to kill the Sona. We do successfully kill the Sona, but my teammates would have done that anyways, and now Katarina is easily able to go in and ult as soon as my fear goes out. I'm able to get a kill on Vayne here, but it doesn't really matter because, again, Katarina gets so much value. I waste my fear again there, so Katarina goes in, she ults, all because of me not properly saving my CC for the key members of the enemy fight. You need to identify your role in the team fight. My role there was to CC the Katarina because I have the burst damage to shut her down, but instead I improperly identified my role and thought that I needed to be a backline damage dealer in that fight, and that is exactly why we ended up losing that fight. Okay guys, so this is just simply going to show how to position in fights to zone people off. You don't always have to really pop off and get a lot of kills in fights. Here, I'm simply just zoning off the Soraka so she can't heal her team. Vayne's there as well, so I'm throwing an ult to scare them off. And that just distracts two members of their team and keeps them off because I'm just positioning well so that they can't possibly come into the fight while still being far enough away from the other enemies to not get engaged on. We get the dragon, we get out, nobody dies. Perfect fight by us, nothing fancy, just zoning a couple people off, making them too scared to go off because I'm threatening them with my positioning, and then we easily get the dragon. Okay guys, so there's going to be a fight breaking out really soon here, and what's important to note in this fight is when I am a tanky champion such as Renekton in the later parts of the game, my role changes from an assassin type of champion to just a frontline that's trying to protect their carries. So I just am very focused on protecting my big carries, which are Kassadin and Ezreal. So if they ever get jumped on, I'm going to immediately try to stun whoever goes on them, and you're going to see here in a second, Pantheon's going to engage on him. I'm going to stun the Pantheon so he can't do anything. My Wukong is going to do a similar thing, tanking the Vex ult so that he does not die. I go on the Vex so that he cannot deal more damage to my carry. My carry ends up getting a double kill because both me and Wukong are immediately protecting him from anyone who engages on him. We identify that in this fight our win condition is not engaging for our carry, but rather peeling for our carry because they have a lot of ways to engage onto our carries with the Pantheon, the Vex, and the Kai'Sa all being able to jump onto him. So what we do instead is just stun him off, and we end up winning that fight super hard and winning the game off of it just because we protect our carry, who at this point in the game is our only win condition, and then we just end up winning the game really easily. Okay guys, that's going to be it for the video today. Just to reiterate a bit, focusing on your team fighting roles, target priority, zoning, protecting your carry, and your positioning are some of the most important things to being successful in team fights. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys later.